So, another year has passed and the Le Mans 24-hour race has been run and won. And what a race it was. I certainly don't claim to be an expert of the World Endurance Championship or Le Mans. In fact, I find myself getting quite confused by it every year. But I have to say, it is something very special. And this year's edition was an absolute cracker. G'day, I'm MG, and today I want to talk about the Le Mans 24-hour race that was just run in France. It was brilliant. I spent most of the weekend glued to the TV, but managed to get a few hours sleep in along the way. This year's event covered 3 main classes of cars. Well, 4 if you count the invitation class of just one vehicle, but I'll get to that in a minute. The Hyper class is the top of the food chain in the World Endurance Championship, or WEC as it is known, and these cars are just insane. Now, as I said, I'm not an expert on sports car racing or Le Mans, but the main team to beat is the Toyota team, who are back with a 2-car team to try and win their 6th Le Mans in a row. But this year, they had some pretty decent challenges. Ferrari, Cadillac, Porsche, Peugeot, Van Wall and Glickenhaus were all there to try and knock Toyota off the top spot. And to be honest, as an average punter, I didn't expect anyone to come close, as Toyota have been the top dog for several years now. But boy was I wrong. It was the beautiful Ferrari that came out on top, with ex-F1 driver Antonio Giovinazzi, Alessandro Pierguidi and James Calado that took victory. And amazingly, this was Ferrari's first win at Le Mans in 58 years. That's right, 58 years. It was 1965 when Ferrari last won the 24. So it's been a very long wait for the Tifosi, and I'm sure they are currently celebrating like crazy in Maranello. Toyota tried, but just couldn't match the Ferrari, but it was certainly close, with only the number 51 Ferrari and the number 8 Toyota finishing on the lead lap. Cadillac took 3rd and 4th places, with what I think was the best sounding car of the entire field. And yes, that includes the invitation class car. But again, I'll get to that in a minute. The Penske Porsche team, factory Peugeot team and Glickenhaus cars were probably never really in the hunt, to be honest, but they gave it their all and had their share of excitement along the way. The LMP2 class is always interesting. It had the most entries with 24 cars, and it was the Inter-Europol team from Poland that took victory, with its drivers Fabio Scherer, Albert Costa and Jacob Schmakowski. And a huge shout out has to go out to one of their drivers, Fabio Scherer, who had an accident in pit lane during the race, where he was actually run over by another car. With a badly damaged foot that is possibly broken, he hopped to and from the garage to the car for his driving stints and didn't use his left foot while out on track, and drove brilliantly to really help set up the win for the Inter-Europol team. Chased all the way by the Team WRT, who gave it a fantastic shot but just didn't quite have enough to chase down the Inter-Europol team. The 3rd class was the GTE AM class. This is the class that is closest to road-going vehicles, and next year will be replaced by the standard GT3 cars that we see running in races like the Nürburgring 24-hour, Spa 24-hour and Bathurst 12-hour races. So it was the swan song for the GTE class this year, and it was the Corvette number 33 that won the race, with Ben Keating, Nicky Katzberg and Nicolas Varone sharing the driving. The real battle in GTE was for 3rd place between the GR Racing Porsche and the Iron Dames Porsche, with GR Racing just beating out the all-female team of the Iron Dames, who do a fantastic job and are a real crowd favourite and will only keep getting better. Another shout out to Team AO and their Porsche named Rexy that came complete with dinosaur paint job and team mascot for the event, and they finished 7th in the GTE class. Always great racing in this class, and hopefully that will continue with the new rules for next year, as I'm sure it will. The final class was a car all on its own. I think I was calling it the invitation class earlier, but it's actually the innovative class. And this car was a Camaro NASCAR from the United States. The car and team garnered plenty of attention over the weekend and in the build-up for the race, with its booming V8 engine and NASCAR shape, to its star-studded driver lineup with 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson driving, with 2009 Formula One world champion Jenson Button and 2-time Le Mans winner Mike Rockenfeller. It was a great initiative to get the NASCAR to Le Mans, and the crowd loved it, although I personally thought the Cadillac engine sounded sweeter than the NASCAR engine. But there was no doubting the Camaro's engine was louder. I have no idea where this project goes from here, if they'll continue to do more racing with it, or if this was the final goal. But it certainly added an extra element to this year's race, and the car obviously won its class, but finished 39th overall at the end of the 24 hours. They did have some problems during the event, including a driveline issue, and the team decided to repair it so they could at least see the checkered flag. And they surely did, and won a lot of hearts along the way. So that was the Le Mans 24-hour race for 2023, and I loved it. Some fantastic racing all through the 24 hours, and a massive crowd trackside saw this as one of the classic events in the race's history. This was also the centenary event, marking 100 years since the first Le Mans 24-hour race in 1923. But it was only the 91st running of the race, as the race was not held in 1936, apparently due to worker strikes, and then from 1940 to 1948 due to World War II and the track needing to be reconstructed after the war. Is this one of the greatest races of the year? You better believe it is. It may even be the greatest race of the year. But there may be a few others vying for that title, and that also depends on where you live as a viewer. Congratulations to all competitors, teams and officials for another fantastic event, and well done to the Ferrari team on finally getting back into victory lane at Le Mans. Ferrari F1 driver Charles Leclerc was on hand to witness the victory go down, so maybe he might head back to the F1 team with a few suggestions on how team strategy should work, as the sports car team nailed it perfectly. This could herald a new era for sports car racing and the World Endurance Championship, and I for one welcome it with open arms. What are your thoughts on Le Mans, WEC and the future of sports car racing? Let me know in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next video.